Hi, I'm back. Hi, I'm back. Oh my goodness, it's a lot of hair, a lot of hair. I had some, I was looking at my book. I wanted to go in my purse and dig out that pink notebook, the pink little, what have you, I started out with. But I don't know. I said, it's Friday, and I have some things to talk about. I said I was going to make some posts on for my relationship page. But I'm Friday and I'm bored. I'm live. I may or may not post this. I don't know. But I have some things out here I want to talk about. The things that what are some like relationships, the things that we do to get rid of a person. You know what? When all you had to do was say goodbye. I don't know why that came to mind, but it does. Sometimes I talk about maturity level and just childishness. If a relationship isn't working out, it's okay to say goodbye. Sometimes, you do things. I do things. I don't do stuff like that. I don't. I mean, I'm like, is it harsh? Because sometimes I remember, I haven't been in many relationships, but sometimes men say that I'm different from most women that they've been involved with. In that they don't say, I guess they expect women to be more and more emotional. And I've never been like that. It's one of those things, I'm very definitive. I say what I mean. You never have to guess how I feel. Now, only do I talk with it, but I show you how I feel. And I feel like if I say something, then you shouldn't have to doubt it. I mean, when I say, things like that. Sometimes I wouldn't say stoic. It's not stoic is a word, but it's something like I don't know. I've never really been a very emotional person, and that's something that I've heard in relationships and dating is that men are not used to a woman that doesn't really show emotion. And then sometimes when I talk, because of what they're used to, when I try to talk and I try to say how I feel and things like that, sometimes it doesn't come across as insincere. It's just I don't know. It's like I don't know that the other women that they cry or they're more emotional or it's more in their tone of voice. I don't know what it is. But then when I say it's like I don't say doubt, but maybe. No, not say too late. It's not necessarily doubt, but I don't know. Or maybe I wasn't showing in my actions as much as I said. But I didn't mean to talk about that. This was like some of these things I said I was going to do like shorts and reels and things like that. Oh well. And but yeah, things I've been thinking about lately. I said some topics. I need to go back and look at that video some of them I really got, others may not. I said things I was going to talk about in 2025. And 2025 is a long time, 365 days, whatever. But some things I've been writing down that's been on my mind lately. The first one's things that we do to get rid of a person when all you had to do was say goodbye. And not everything is meant to last. It's meant to last forever. That's a big one. I almost, and then I realized I didn't care. And some arguments you're not supposed to win. I was watching a vlog or a movie on YouTube or something like that, and they're talking about single parents and dating single parents. My personal, I said that some arguments you're not supposed to win, and dealing with single parents and dating, and the children that technically is supposed to be the parents' priorities and priority, and then and dealing with the relationships that are already in place, being in a sort of relationship with the not just with the child and being a parent, but dealing with the other parent and things like that. And some arguments in relationships you're not supposed to win, or if you could win, would you? Because sometimes that's it. That was just something I don't know that crossed my mind. A random thought. I was watching something somewhere, and I thought about that. Some arguments you're not supposed to win, and even if you could win, would you want to? That's a big one. Like dealing with like people that are single parents, men and women. And with single parents, and that's like baby mama. Baby mama is not the real issue, but the children and things like that. Like for instance, I can give an example. I haven't really, for me to have had children at a young age. Once I was separated and divorced, I didn't really date many. The many that I was involved with usually didn't have any children. Maybe they ever had one. For the most part, but for the most part, they didn't. But then when you do meet someone that does have children or does have a child, you know the child is definitely the priority. You should never be in competition with the child and with their relationship with the child as a parent. And even if you could influence that relationship in any way which you want to. So that's what I mean by some arguments you're not supposed to win. And even if you could, would you want to? Because I thought of myself like as a woman, I thought about because I was a single parent, and then it got to the point where I had children. My children were living with me, especially when I was in the military, and I thought about it was an instance like that where they had the person I was seeing had a child or children, and I realized that I wasn't supposed to be. Say for instance, this is kind of how it was. I was seeing someone. He was a very, very active parent. And I like that's something that I didn't like that I did like about him. But sometimes you have men or women, because I'm dealing with that because I have older children, and then I have younger children that live with their father. I'm talking about that off and on for years. So you listen to anything I said on social media, then you know a lot about what's going on with me in regards to that. But I wouldn't like it if I was seeing someone and he had children. I knew that he had children and he didn't, and he wasn't an active parent. In my opinion, I don't know. So I don't know. But I was given for the purpose. I really wasn't, because when I talk about things like this, it would be I get my notepad like I did my little outline. The other day we were talking about dating and how to date later in life, and talking about dating vocabulary. I do plan for that, but just some topics that I thought I might talk about. But when it comes to dating, and especially dating single parents, and that's the only example I have when I say that some arguments you're not supposed to win, and even if you could, would you want to? No, usually I would not think I respect the person as a parent, and the child should always come first. In my opinion, and dealing with the baby mama, the baby mama relationship. I wanted to talk about different types of relationships. They are an intact family, whether you like it or not. Once you go out and you find yourself involved with someone that has a child, that has children. They are a family. Him, that child's mother, or that person's father, and that child. They are a family unit already. And that's something that you have to take into consideration. And when it comes to dealing with the baby mama, you shouldn't deal with the baby mama, because you are not in a relationship with the baby mama, and you really don't need to know the baby mama, especially right away, and not unless you're interacting with the child right away. And then that is a decision for not for you to make, but that's a decision for the parent to decide if and when you get to meet the child, and in what way you interact with the child, and as far as dealing with the child, the other parent, that's not your place, because that you're not part of that family unit, and they're not in a relationship with the other parent, in my opinion. It's dealing with the baby mama, baby daddy. You are not in a relationship with the baby mama. You're not in a relationship with the baby daddy. You're in a relationship with the person that you're dating only. You don't, in my opinion, you don't really have any place in their already intact family. Because whether your relationship, whether you're just seeing each other, whether you're dating, whether you get married, they are an intact family unit. And that's something that you have to deal with, with as that relationship progresses, or in whatever way you are involved. You don't have a relationship with the other parent. You don't have anything to do with that at all. That relationship is between the person that you're seeing and that child's other parent. And then even if that's one of those things where even some arguments you're not supposed to win. And even if you could, would you? Because they were an intact family before you met. And I think that's something you accept when you continue to date, or when you continue to see the person. And then as a parent, they have priorities, and their priorities may be in regards to the child. And then, and whether even if they continue to see you, they're still in an ideal situation. Ideally, they will be co-parenting. still raising the child with the parent. The child has two parents already, and they are family unit, and as they have a mother and a father. It's not up to you. I don't think it's up to you to show up and play parent to somebody else's child, in my opinion. You know what? But so it's just something that you have to be able to deal with when dealing with someone that has children. And in my opinion, you know, their priority is going to be the child, and sometimes you may come second to the child, and you're supposed to. If that situation is not for you, you're not used to it, that situation is just not for you. And they will always have relationship ideally with the child's parent, because the child is being raised by two parents. Just because you're seeing someone doesn't necessarily mean that you are a maternal figure to that child, in my opinion. And I think that the relationship in that family unit has to remain intact. You know, if only for the sake of the upbringing of the child, in my opinion, regardless of how much your relationship progresses. And I feel like anything that needs to be addressed within, you know, it's not, you don't say anything to the other parent or things like that. I think that there are different types of relationships. Like you are maybe intimately involved, and more like progressing to more like a more committed relationship, where their relationship is a family based, they're raising a child together only. Different types of relationships. So I think that, you know, in some instances, some arguments you're not supposed to win. You are supposed to come second to the child, because that person is a parent first, and you can't accept that. And you don't need to be just don't know how much time keep going. And as far as dealing with the baby mom and baby daddy, you should have to, because if you're not involved with the baby mom or the baby daddy, you know, like they deal with the baby mom and the baby daddy. The baby mom and baby daddy shouldn't be saying anything to you at all. You shouldn't be saying anything to you at all, because they're not in a relationship with you, and you are not in a relationship with them. You are in a relationship with the parent, and then it's up to that parent to address any issues or any concerns, you know, or you know, put at ease any concerns, you know, regarding to the family and the well-being, their family unit and the well-being of the child, you know, upbringing of the child, and so on and so on and so forth. I don't know. You know, in my opinion. But yeah, I just wanted to dealing with, you know, as far as like maturity levels, and things of that nature. But I was just thinking, I don't know what's the person that's a single. No, it wasn't on a vlog. I'm trying to think where I saw it. I was watching something, and then when something gets my attention, I write it down so that I have something to talk about later. So, but yeah, I was thinking about that. You know, in some instances, some arguments you're not supposed to, you know. And you know, and dealing with baby mamas and baby daddies. Not baby mamas and baby daddies. I'm talking about side people. Baby mama and baby daddy. And because there are different types of relationships. When you've got the intimate personal relationships in your family unit. So when you're dealing with someone or entering a relationship with someone, or start dating someone that has children, they are still an intact family unit, especially if they're both present parents. You know, if you even for the sake of the child, and that's something that you have to be able to deal with and accept. Or you know, regardless of what level your relationship is on, and you know, when it comes to the child, technically, you're not supposed to come first. I wouldn't expect, if I was dealing with someone that had children, I would expect to come first. I would understand that as a parent, they have priorities, and that, you know, their priorities should be the child. And as far as like baby mama and baby daddy, you're not in a relationship with a child's parent, and whatever concerns you may have, you shouldn't have any. But if there are concerns you may have, and that is between the mother, the mother and the father only, to deal with the issues regarding the child and within their family. I can say that, and this is how. Many years ago, I was in the military. I met someone. I had kids. At the time I had two children, and we had two together, and then he had kids. He had four. Hold on, I don't want to start thinking names. Well, anyway, so that's kind of how it was. He was a very present father, and then at some point in time, for some reason, his child began living with him. So he went from being a very present father and child went with us to being a single father. And we ended up raising children, raising our family together. So that's how I know a little bit about, you know, about dating someone and being involved with someone that is a single parent, is a single dad, and also, but I guess the mom was great. I never had problems with the mom. I really didn't. So I'm not familiar with baby mama drama. I guess that was my only experience, at least so far, and I was fortunate enough to have a decent experience. But when it comes to dealing with single parents, they are a parent first, and when it comes to issues, it comes to the child, and that's some ways, in some instances, you're supposed to come second to the child, and you are supposed to. And then how would you feel about the person if they allowed you, or they prioritized you, before your relationship, before their parental obligations? How would you feel about that? I definitely would feel some kind of way about that. So when I was happy to be involved with someone, in this case, that's a big one. With someone that not only had one child with me, but a few children, and a few children, one baby mama. Some things you understand that they have priorities, and not only that they have relationships. I'll give you an example. I met the daughter. I met the daughter first, and then at some point in time, I met the mom. And then things have to be at their own pace, if that's what you mean. Because don't forget that they had a relationship too, and I'm assuming an intimate relationship for any period of time. And then then the child was conceived, so then they had an intact family unit, a relationship just like the relationship that you have. And then at some point in time, a child was conceived, and they were a family unit, and then they could just continue to co-parent after the relationship was over. So then sometimes it's like I can say that you met the child, but then it's up to them and to do things at their own pace. Not only when they allow you to meet their family, but how you interact with the child, and when you meet the other parent. That's a big one. And then when you start interacting, and when the other parent knows you, and then not only when you meet the parent, but when you meet the other parent's family. I was happy as hell. It's like I met the child. She was one at a time. She's grown now. She's grown now. She was one at a time, and I met the child. She was great. But it was some time. I remember the first time. Because see, that's when trust comes in too. Because now he's still a present parent. So now you got school functions, and then the child involved in school and after school activities and things like that. So of course they're going to the school functions and then after school activities, and they're still interacting with the child, even though for the sake of the child, somewhat as a family unit, because they are still parents to the child. He is still a father to the child, and maybe even part of your support system to the mom, even though he's in a relationship with you. So that's something I had to stand back and respect and allow for him to do things at his own pace. Right? So I meet the child, and the child was over with me all the time. But then I remember that one day, like a year, 3 years, because I knew the child for a long time before I met the mom. And he was sitting down, and I remember I used to drop him over. He was like, I'm going to just, because the child was really big into dance, like the dance recitals or something going on in school. And I was okay, and I really wanted him to invite me. I did, but I never asked, and I never complained, because things had to be done at his own pace. I had to make sure that I've respected our relationship, but I definitely had to make sure that I didn't in any way try to interfere or compete with him as a parent, or as a possible support system to the child's mother. So then one day out of the blue, I could tell he was thinking about it before he opened his mouth. Could you understand that this is a baby mama, and they had a relationship, and then they had a child together. You know what? And so sometime I'm sure she knew about me, but we hadn't met. And then one day the child had a recital. And he actually asked me that I want to go. I was so excited. Because keep in mind, I really liked him. I really did. And did we have a child together? We had one child together, our oldest son. And he invited, so for him to incorporate me and allows me not only know the child, but then I was going to get you to meet the other parent. And I met the other parent and her parents at the same time. I walked in, I was like, all I could do was I could do a smile. Because, I mean, I seen her mother before, but I had never talked to her. And then I walk in to the child's event. I'm going to tell you about that. And I walk in, and her parents looking at me like, you know what? And that was something, because the parents didn't know that we were living together. We still had an intimate relationship, you know what? So anyway, we'll go back just a little bit. I knew that she had a recital. It was like a Christmas recital or something like that. And he was sitting there on the couch and he was thinking. And he was like, and he asked me if I wanted to go to the recital, wanted to go to the child's event with her. I was happy because I knew that we were progressing within our relationship. So I knew I had to allow him to still be a parent, to still have interact, have that family unit, with the baby mom, to still be a present parent and respect their family. That's what I had to do, respect their family. And I did that for the sake of my relationship because I knew what I wanted. And I was happy as hell. And then, I didn't want to in any way compete with him as a parent or him and his family unit, co-parents as far as the rearing of the child. Because, and that's one of those things where even if I could interfere back then, what I had wanted to. And then how would I, some things you're not supposed to win. And, and then you could if you wanted to. I wouldn't want to anyway interfere with them as a parent or interfere with their already intact family unit. So anyway, one day he's getting ready. And the daughter has a dance recital. It was like winter recital or something like that. And it was ballet. I think it was like tap and jazz or something like that. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. And he asked me if I wanted to go. I was happy as hell because I knew that our relationship was progressing and progressing in a good way. When they saw, because then the family unit were not just like we have our relationship and our family. And then he had this family that he had with her, continued to have with her, even while we were in a relationship, and raising our oldest child together. And then then that's when I said the importance of allowing things. I had to allow for him to do things at his own pace. I couldn't try to force myself, like I want to go or invite myself to something. I had to allow for him to make that decision in his own time and invite me at his own time. Because for whatever reason it was definitely going to be a statement for me and our son to meet her, meet the other child's mom. And to meet her parents. It's kind of like, and then it's us as a family, but it's also them as a family also. If that makes sense. So that's what I mean. And I some of these things I talk about, I've experienced personally, but one of those things, dealing with a single parent and acknowledging the relationship and that he has with them. Especially if they are a present parent, and allowing them to continue to parent, even throughout the course of your relationship. He had a relationship with them, and now whether they're so intimately involved or not, they're still parents, and for the sake of the child. You know what? And then you still have your relationship, your intimate relationship. So sometimes when dating, especially dating at a certain age. Dating at my age, you can find yourself dealing with multiple relationships at the time, like him as a parent and a support system to her, while also, we had a child that we were parents in an intimate relationship with me, So then allowing them to incorporate you into their life at their own pace. I think that's important. And that's it. So I was thinking I saw something, say some things you're not supposed to win in relationships. You're not supposed to. And when it comes to dealing with, and even if you could, what you want to, and when it comes to dealing with the baby mama, you don't deal with the baby mama because you're not in a relationship with the baby mama. He's in a relationship with the baby mama. Usually, y'all shouldn't be interacting at all. Not necessarily. Only, or maybe in the case of the child or something like that. But for the most part. But anyways. I think I talked enough. I didn't mean to expand on that topic, but I think I talked enough. But yeah, I was watching something and it's like, I want some things, how did I put it? Some arguments, not necessarily an argument, but some things you're not supposed to win at, like, and in relationships, prioritizing, but that's a decision that you make, or a situation you put yourself in when you choose to be involved with someone, with a ready-made family or somebody that's raising children, raising young children, and not even maybe even young children, older children, and then allowing them to incorporate you in their life at their own pace, and acknowledging that there are relationships that may be going on, as far as that person's family with someone else, as well as that family with you, in my opinion. But anyway, I think I talked more than I wanted to. That's it. That's something that crossed my mind. Some arguments you're not supposed to win, and if you could, would you want to? I'm Shantae. That's what I say, Jay. Good night. That's a big one.